Usually when you walk into like a massive sports bar or a high-end hotel, the first thing that hits you is the sensory overload.
Oh, yeah, it's just total sensory overload.
You see dozens of flashy TVs, perfectly synced, the audio is booming, and it all just seems like magic. I mean, we expect it to be a simple plug it in and turn it on kind of deal.
Exactly. It feels totally effortless to the customer. We just see the bright screens and hear the speakers, so we naturally assume the setup is just as straightforward as, our living room home theater.
But then you look behind the drywall and step into the AV closet, and suddenly that illusion completely vanishes.
Yeah, it's a completely different world back there.
It really is. We're actually looking at an incredibly complex, high-stakes ecosystem, and that is our mission for you today. Welcome to your custom deep dive.
You're definitely pulling back the curtain on this one.
We really are. We are digging into the invisible high-end hardware that powers these commercial audio and video setups, and we're looking at the actual technical specs today, specifically the $3,440 QSC MP-A80V amplifier and HDTVSupply's Wolfpack matrix switchers.
Which is a great pairing because the contrast between what the consumer experience is and the intense engineering required to make that happen is just stark once you look at the specs.
Okay, let's unpack this with the audio side first.
Yeah.
So the QSC MP-A80V is an 8-channel commercial amplifier. But the absolute standout feature here is something they call FlexAmp technology.
Right, the FlexAmp.
Yeah, it allows each pair of channels to dynamically share up to 400 watts of total power in like any ratio. I was thinking about this, like a smart plumbing system in a massive building.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Right. Instead of forcing the exact same water pressure to every single tap, even if someone is just washing their hands, it dynamically diverts the heaviest flow exactly to the faucet that needs it most in that exact second.
Exactly. And the reason that matters so much is because it handles incredibly diverse audio loads.
Like different types of speakers.
Yeah, in a commercial space, you rarely have identical speakers everywhere. You might have massive power-hungry subwoofers in the main dining room, but just tiny background noise speakers in a hallway.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So because of FlexAmp, this single unit can efficiently drive all of them simultaneously. It can power a standard 4-ohm speaker sitting right next to the amp, while at the exact same time,
At the same time.
pushing a 100-volt signal down a massive cable run to reach ceiling speakers on the other side of the building.
Wow. Which brings us to the physical reality of managing all that electrical power. You'd think something pushing that much varied wattage would be the size of a refrigerator.
You really would, yeah.
But it actually fits into a compact 1RU space, which just means it takes up one standard skinny slot on an equipment rack. And it does that using Class D output circuitry.
Right, because Class D is hyper-efficient.
Yeah, instead of constantly bleeding off unused power as heat like older amps do, it switches on and off rapidly, meaning it doesn't need massive, bulky heat sinks to cool down.
Without that specific circuitry, you literally couldn't pack that much power into such a tiny chassis without melting the equipment.
And speaking of heat, there's a spec here that seems oddly specific. It has an auto standby feature that kicks in after exactly 28 minutes of inactivity.
Oh yeah, the 28-minute sleep timer.
Right, and when the audio signal returns, it wakes up with a seamless auto ramp. But why do AV installers care so much about a half-hour nap timer?
Well, it's all about the environment. These amplifiers are almost always shoved into tiny, cramped, unventilated AV closets.
Oh, right, where there's no airflow at all.
Exactly. So when the amplifier goes to sleep, it naturally draws less power, and less power drawn means a significant reduction in the ambient heat generated in that tight space.
Which protects the gear.
It protects the gear. And over months and years, keeping that closet cooler and slashing the electricity bill massively lowers the total cost of ownership. It saves the business a lot of money.
Okay, so FlexAmp solves the power issue, and Class D solves the heat issue in that tiny AV closet. But that amplifier isn't sitting in there alone.
No, it's usually racked right next to the brain of the video operation.
Because pristine audio means nothing if the visual ecosystem isn't matching that energy. Our sources highlight HDTVSupply's Wolfpack HDMI matrix switchers, which basically route multiple video sources to multiple TVs simultaneously.
Right, they handle all the heavy lifting for the screens.
So looking at these Wolfpack switchers, they come in fixed and modular. If someone is wiring up a sports bar, How do they choose? I mean, I'm guessing fix is exactly what it sounds like. If you buy an 8x8, you are locked into exactly 8 inputs and 8 outputs forever.
Spot on. It all comes down to how a venue plans to grow. A fixed unit is built into a single permanent chassis.
So like a standard plug-and-play solution.
Yeah, simple plug and play. If a venue has a static room design and knows they will only ever need exactly 8 screens, fixed is perfect. But a modular unit is basically a blank chassis.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you literally slide physical input and output cards into the back of it, almost like plugging cartridges into an old video game console.
Now, that makes so much sense. So if a venue thinks they might add an outdoor patio or a whole new wing of TVs later, they aren't forced to buy a whole new switcher.
Great, they just buy a new output card and slide it in. That modular approach allows venues to scale all the way up to massive 160 by 160 setups as their needs change.
So what does this all actually mean? It means these dense, highly efficient pieces of hardware are essentially acting as the invisible nervous system of modern commercial spaces.
They really are. They're the hidden brains managing all the muscle.
So next time you step into a bustling sports bar or hotel and marvel at the perfectly synchronized screens and pristine audio, ask yourself, how much invisible intelligence is quietly sitting in a dark closet, deciding exactly where every single watt and pixel needs to go?